The first cultural situation I had is at Western. So you have a black teenager coming from a all black neighborhood coming to Western Michigan University. And boy, I tell you, when I stepped foot on campus, it was a culture shock. And so the conversations that we have in our household completely different than some of you may have in yours about how we conduct ourselves and the things to be prepared for when we go into certain communities and certain other societies. And so those conversations were a reality for me at both when I was a teenager having to deal with Dearborn and also coming as a teenager, younger man, an older man, 18, when I got to Western, and understanding how to navigate those waters as well, because there were some very racial divides in Western still at that time, and we're talking about the early 90s. So those were kind of my experiences in understanding, how my black experience was, those particular topics.
I'll kind of share the same sentiment as DJ Chuck here. Again, Southfield is a kind of an enclave of a mini suburb of Detroit itself. Now today it's about 80% African American today. So when I was going to school, still about high numbers in my school. People don't recognize the public school system is very highly segregated, still is today. So my school was probably about 85% African American at the time. And this is in the 90s, so mid to late 90s when I went to high school. And I believe the first time, to answer the question more specifically, I realized, I guess, my so-called blackness, a lot of times it's all relative to the people that you surround yourself by. And so when I went to go visit my older brother, who was also attending the University of Michigan, I was still in high school at the time, as I'm walking around the Ann Arbor campus, if any of you guys familiar with Ann Arbor, Michigan here, I could not identify myself with the other people that were walking around. I felt like they were walking one way, I was walking against them, if you kind of picture that. And I told my brother, because he really wanted me to attend the school with him, and I said, his name was Obanga, I said, you know what, I don't feel like I belong here. And this is a mental condition that I had coming from, again, a historically black high school, and thinking about trying to go someplace where I felt like I didn't belong. Belong means, for me, money-wise, I didn't feel like, this is me stereotyping people there, not realizing that they could have just been in more socioeconomic means than I was at the time. And so when it came time to choosing the college, I wanted to go down south to the historically black university, because I felt like that was my comfort zone. What discouraged me, and I guess we all need one of these people in our lives, this is from my mother's standpoint, she said, Vaughn, again, my nickname, she said, the world, if you really want to compete, you can't stay in your comfort zone. That's what she told me. And so she said, you know what? Michigan would be a great opportunity to get out of that comfort zone, because guess what? This is America right here. And that's what you have to compete against. Those people at that university right there. Instead of trying to go back to down south and go to a certain black university, she said, no, you need to go there. So I fought with her. I almost went to Michigan State. Meet her halfway. So, and I'll wrap up the story. But so even when at the University of Michigan, again, man, so if this is a classroom right here, imagine seeing 3 black faces and the rest a sea of white. Is what they said. My grandmother used to say, a fly in a buttermilk, is what she used to say. So literally I felt that way. Most people thought, probably 90% that I was just a student athlete. They say, hey, you play football, I got that every single time. So again, having those experiences myself, I see, you know what, okay, this is my cultural shock that I've never experienced before. And so right there, that told myself I need to be more socially conscious, not about myself, but about the world I live in as well, and where I live and where I stay in.